welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I take construction sets like Mega Construx and stuff, and I flip them into something new. Now today I have a bit bigger of a setup than I usually do. It is based off of the mission 2 Betrayals and Combat Evolved, and it features the Wraith tank, because each of my videos have been featuring like a singular vehicle lately, and today's is the Wraith. But there's a lot to look at here, so let's dive in. So first up we've got the Wraith, and I wanted to use the original purple, but I didn't really care for the first gen Wraith. So I built my own out of a Phantom dropship. At first glance, I don't think a lot of you are going to realize that it's not the V1 Mega Block set. It's got about the same body mass as the old one, but it's got a lot more moving parts than the original, and also it's just a lot more game accurate with what I can work with anyway. So starting with the front where the door is, I didn't actually put any hinges on there because, again, I don't usually put pilots in my vehicles because I have them on display like they're in battle anyway. So I could easily add some hinges and make it like that, but I don't want to. The side wings can move up and down. I built them to the best of my ability with what I could work with. I'm actually really proud of the way the turret turned out because I didn't think that I could actually make it out of bricks, and it's pretty much 100% game accurate, and it can rotate around and up and down. Here you can get a better view of the side profile and how I built everything. Now here's where it's obvious that I used mostly Phantom parts because of all these hinges. I used hinges on the smaller wings, and these can actually close like in game. And I kept the main gun pretty similar to the original build, but I also smoothed out the back area so that it looked a bit more accurate. And I made the little power core area that you can destroy with a grenade. So this is what it looks like all closed up. This is the best I could do without those actual molded rounded pieces that they use for the doors, but I'm really happy with the way they turned out. So I'm really excited about because I love diorama type like environmental builds, and I tried to include a snowy pine tree and the doors that lead to the other areas on the way to the control room. The snowy areas on this part are actually built out of mainly the the original Rocket Hog set and a lot of old gray pieces that I had laying around. And the little plants here are from the Spirit dropship. The door here was built using parts from the Phantom dropship, and they were like the side slanted ramp area pieces, and they just turned out like really close to the door shape. So I added a little bit of a door in there, and it just worked out. I wasn't planning on adding this, but it was a nice surprise. But yeah, I just had the original like snowy landscape here without the door at first. And here we've got one of my favorite parts. It's the control room for the Halo ring. And basically whoever gets the activation index and gets in here can set off the Halo ring, killing all sentient life in the universe, which is made to eradicate the food for the flood. Had to adjust the ring so it was a little more circular there, but yeah, you can do a lot with this. I mean, there's a couple scenes that take place in here, and more importantly, the 2 Betrayals scene, because Mega came out with a Cortana figure, a purple Cortana figure, which included an angry Guilty Spark, which makes it perfect for this scene right here. Now, the eye on Guilty Spark was red, and I've watched the in-game cutscene several times and noticed that it never turns red, not even when he shoots. So I had to change the eye to blue. But we'll get back to that when we go to the figures. So when I had first built this, I had only built this walkway here and this little computer area. I was staring at it for a long time, and I was just like, this isn't good enough. This isn't, you know, I mean, it looks like the control room, but it doesn't have enough of the control room. So I took the Pro Builder tub, and I was just building walls, and I eventually managed to form out the hallway, which I didn't realize it was a hallway until I added it to this build. And then I took some parts from my spirit dropship, and I just wanted to make as much of a small ring as I could so that I can make the map area that is floating around the control center. Here's a better look inside the hallway. There's not much to see, it's all pretty much smoothed out. And then I added a little piece of snowy terrain on the side so that it can show where it came from. I think in the future I could build more of the bottom of the ring area and then build the front of the control room, like the pyramid structure on the outside, later on. So as I said before, Mega came out with a purple Cortana figure, which was based off the Halo CE version, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. But this isn't a review, so this is definitely the inspiration for this whole setup. Like, I'm a big fan of Combat Evolved, so I had to use this figure for something, so I had to build a control room. Otherwise, I probably would have just had the Wraith and the little section of land with the door. I used the cryo version of Chief for this build because he's in a snowy area, so why not? And you can see here that his plasma rifle is shooting, and I did that by using one of the foot jet rocket things from the Halo 5 Spartans from Fireteam Castle, I believe. But it just wedges right in there perfectly, like no glue or anything. Next up we have some very gruesome and grotesque Flood. Now these ones are not the same as the ones in my last video. The one in my last video, it was a blue Elite Minor combat form. Now to make it different from the last one, I decided to go with a Elite Major combat form with a Kneeler, excuse me, and I chose the human Flood to have a rocket launcher because everybody's just got like terrible memories from Halo CE where the Flood with a rocket launcher will just take you out and you can do nothing about it. So I wanted to bring back some nostalgia. And as you can see, I did the same arm thing as I did in the last video and gave them superposable arms using Storm Elite arms and one of these not peg, it's a bar with an extra bar sticking out of it, basically. Now, as I said, I don't include pilots in my vehicles, but there was a Wraith in the build, so I figured I'd have to have at least one Covenant figure here. And so I chose the Active Camo Elite with an energy sword, and I think he looks really dope. I made him using the Active Camo Honor Guard body, but there wasn't a regular size Elite head that I had available that I could use, so I actually have a Brute head on him, but he's invisible, so you didn't see that. So I'm willing to bet many of you skipped to this part because you saw it in the thumbnail, but I have custom made sentinels. Now I'm really happy with the way these guys turned out. Their arms can move, I can switch this laser back and forth from either of these figures, and I've got them in 4 phases. I've got the just stationary floating sentinel, I've got a firing sentinel, I've got an actively exploding sentinel, and then basically like a corpse of an exploded sentinel. So Megablox already gave us an awesome sentinel build, but I don't have access to that second battlescape. I would love to, but actually I believe it was the 3rd battlescape. But anyway, continuing, I wanted to make a simpler, like as simple as possible brick built version, and this is what I came up with. And here you can see how the arms move and how I built the bag. Now I didn't make the tail wings kind of very long, but like this is what I was working with, so that's the best I could do. The arm hand area was built out of the skids from, like, I believe it was the Pelican dropship, and I think they're also included in the Falcon, correct me if I'm wrong. This here is a brick-built explosion. It's made out of mostly the orange parts from the Cauldron Clash, and a couple of black bricks, because like when something explodes, it brings up smoke through it, and like the black bricks are supposed to represent the smoke coming through the fire. And I think it looks pretty awesome because I made it go out in all directions. Like, it looks like a legitimate explosion, in my opinion. And I almost forgot to include the infection forms. I've got the older version here because I haven't been able to get my hands on the newer rubbery version that goes with the squishy flood blobs from the Captain Keys figure. So yeah, that's my setup for today, guys. I hope you guys like it. I hope to see you guys replicating a lot of my builds. I'm wondering if you guys would like it if I built full-size dioramas instead of these inspired set ideas like I've been doing. I like the aesthetic of these, but I also love to build huge, just like straight up land masses with a lot going on. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you guys later.